either, so no worries. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shakara Harrison. I am a survivor of what some refer to as the child welfare system. I survived as a foster youth and later as a parent separated from my own children. After surviving the family regulation system's decades of abuse, I became an advocate for change. I remember being in the New York City foster system, never being asked if I felt safe. The caseworkers were heartless and never appeared to care about my safety from one foster home to the next, always being placed to reside with strangers. Most of my foster placements were child abusers and had family members who were living in or visiting their home. They were pedophiles. Not one caseworker believed me when I told them. ACS provides kidnapping, child abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, homelessness, mass juvenile incarceration, and murder. While they claim the New York City Administration for Children's Services is a government agency that protects and promotes safety and well-being of New York City's children and families by providing child welfare, juvenile justice, and early care and education services, for me and countless others, it was a prison for many years as a child, never having a choice to be safe or to be with loving family who truly had my well-being as a child at heart. Instead, I suffered in silence, internalizing the verbal, mental, and physical abuse. I have PTSD as an adult today because of what was allowed to happen to me while in the custody of New York State ACS. As a parent advocate today, I join with Joyce McMillian, JMacForFamilies, in calling for the abolishment of New York City Administration for Children's Services and the partnership of parent-led community-based services in conjunction with foster agencies and any other agency, government agency, that play a part in the harms that are caused to children who are ripped from their parents. I worked for a foster agency for 6 months through some fake partnership with another agency I used to work for. The partnership is window dressing and is not designed for advocates to have the power to actually help anyone. The agency tried to use me to do their dirty work. They tried the same tactics on me as an employee as the one they used when I was being impacted. The best way to keep children safe is to make sure parents know their rights. Protect children. Tell ACS that you cannot rubber stamp taking children from parents whose rights were violated because they did not know them. Placing a child in the foster system because ACS took advantage of the parent, lied, and exaggerated is wrong. Having rights is not enough. We must know our rights. Thank you.
Before we move on, Ms. Harrison, first, thank you for the testimony. Can I ask you a question, if possible? Because this is the second time at the hearing I've heard from parents about PTSD with ACS involvement. So, I've been focused solely on the trauma to the kids. Could you talk about the trauma to the family and the parent?
I was a foster child for most of my life. So that's 8 to 17, and you're inside of ACS's system being told that no one cares and that my parents are never coming back to me. So yes, that is PTSD. Yeah. Every day I have to believe that because I'm not hearing nothing from my family. Keeping me away from my parents and lying and saying my parents never showed up for visits when they were there. So yes, it was a long history of just trauma continuously done by caseworkers, lawyers, whoever would tell me lies about my family, and it was never true because I actually met my parents when I got older. Okay, so moral of the story, as an adult, I had to worry about it. All my life, basically, I had to worry because I'm a ward of the state. They took me from my parents for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So with that being said, from being a ward of the state, I was always surveillanced. They even offered to take my child when she was first born, my first child, which they currently have, and they took her up for adoption. So moral of the story, they've been in my entire life. I'm 34 years old. They never left my life. Never, not once. I don't have no criminal record. Prior to that, I didn't commit any violence prior to that. But I feel like by me being in the system, it causes me to have PTSD. Prior to that, I didn't have PTSD. I was with my parents. I was happy with my parents. They stripped me of my identity. I don't know my parents. I don't even know where my brothers and sisters are at. I have 12 brothers and sisters that I don't know where they're at. So with that being said, yes, this causes trauma to a whole entire family, to the point that now I have to explain to my children what is ACS and what do they do, and what has happened to me and why I react every time a caseworker comes to my door. I have to radical, like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Again, why? It's traumatizing over and over again. It's like waking up to a nightmare.
And the fear that it happens again and again and
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. That must have been very difficult. I appreciate it. Ms. Holman, please.
Yes. Thanks for having me. My name is Sarita.